One of the thoughts I've been toying with lately is that idea that you either die a hero or you live long enough to become the villain. And as an individual who's lately been trading stocks, I know it doesn't seem relevant, but bear with me. There's a thing called the Dow theory, and Dow believed that the stock market would move in cycles. It would go up in these 18-year periods, and then it would come down for a certain number of years, and it's essentially has a rhythm to it. And I believe if you look at history, you'll see that regardless of the party or political system or religion that you've decided to associate yourself with, you'll see this pattern where it's moving in waves between good and bad, or sometimes you'll plateau for a certain number of years, but eventually, regardless of the initial intention, it will shift. Like you saw the Democrats become Republicans, and Republicans became the Democrats here in the United States. And I personally believe that this is one of the cycles of humanity that continuously perpetuates this conflicting world where humans cannot get along because we create this environment where there's power. And somebody's at the top, they have this power, and they become a group who oppresses those beneath them. So the oppressed become vigilant and united, and they tear down that system, and they build their own, and things may feel good after a series of growing pains, and then what happens? They become the oppressors. Because the individuals at the bottom, they may never have known what it's like to be at the top, so they want a little taste of the pie. And so long as we believe these social constructs that, there's this power that we all need to have, there's this thing out of our reach, and we have to overcome the bad guys, the people who have put us in our place. These guys, we need to strip them of their power and do what we know will help. So long as we have this mentality and are lacking this collaborative effort towards bettering humanity as a whole, I believe this cycle will continue. Because, as our Buckminster Fuller has referred to planet Earth as Spaceship Earth, it's this flying rock. I've mentioned this multiple times, but it's this flying rock in space that a bunch of sentient life forms are bumbling around on, struggling to find meaning, and then they adopt this consumeristic lifestyle where it's like, consume all the food, get all the items, and find pleasure. But then eventually you run into those existential crises, having those philosophical debates about, why am I here? What's the purpose of my life? Where am I going? What should I do? And eventually, you just try new things. You keep going and going and going. But then humanity, regardless of the time period, it would seem, different cultures that clearly have it differently, and this is just from the perspective and lens of, me living here in America. But it seems that this constant struggle that humans are facing, that breeds conflict and animosity among each other, could be broken if we would just strip ourselves of the belief that we are right, that our beliefs are correct, even though they are just a byproduct of our biases, and we just try on the possibility that other individuals may be right, or they may also be wrong. Either way, the probability is not in our favor that we've gotten things right on the first time. So, try something new, because it's good for you. And if you don't feel happy, edit, adjust, and adapt. That's all for today. Thanks for tuning into my rambles. It's a little bit longer today because thoughts are running amok in the old brain. Doodles.